Hello everybody, my name is Sir Raphael and I will be teaching you environmental studies for class 4. Now everybody, today we will be learning about beaks and claws. Beaks and claws belong on birds, right? Birds have beaks and claws. We will be learning about the different types of beaks and claws in lesson number 10, page number 72. Beaks. Birds have beaks instead of teeth. The beaks are also called bills. Different birds have different kinds of beaks, suited to the kind of food they may eat. Birds use their beaks to peck, fight, hold their food, and look for their food in the ground, in water, or in the soil. They use their beaks to collect twigs and grass to build their nests. Birds also use their beaks to smoothen and clean their feathers by applying oil from their oil glands. This is called preening. All right, I'm sure you've seen birds. They use their beaks to clean their feathers, to clean themselves, right? So what are they doing? This is called preening. What happens is they use their beaks to clean their bodies, to clean their feathers by applying oil from their oil glands, right? Oil comes out from their oil glands and then they use that oil glands to clean their body and their feathers, right? So this is called preening. Now, types of beaks. There are many kinds of beaks. There are many types of beaks. If you see different birds have different shapes of beaks. Can you imagine an eagle trying to eat a mouse using a duck's bill? That would be quite impossible. Rather, eagles, hawks, and other meat eaters have strong, sharp, hooked beaks designed for tearing flesh. That's right. Look at the beak of the hawk on the picture of the right. Yes, you see the hawk. You look at this beak. It's hooked, right? That hooked beak helps to tear flesh, right? A duck's bill is broad, flat, shovel-shaped, with teeth-like edges for straining food out of the water. It scoops the muddy water with it. The mud and water flow out through the holes on the sides, and the little plants and insects from the muddy water remain inside the beak for the duck to eat. That is how the duck eats, right? Look at the beak of the duck, or the bill of the duck. Yes, it's flat, right? So what happens is the flat beak of the duck helps to take in mud and water, right? And then the water and mud flows out through the holes on the sides. The duck's bills have holes on the sides through which the mud and water flows out, and whatever remains, the little plants and insects from the muddy water, the duck eats that, right? That's how the duck feeds. And then what about woodpeckers? Woodpeckers eat insects too, but they don't catch insects in the air. They prefer to drill holes into trees and use their extremely long tongues to get the insects out. As woodpeckers are always hitting their beaks against a tree, they require a strong beak. The beak is shaped like a chisel, right? Have you ever seen a woodpecker? Yeah, the woodpecker keeps pecking on wood, right? It moves its the woodpecker's head moves up and down against the bark of the tree, and it digs holes. It drills holes into the trees, right? And then sparrows and pigeons have short, thick, and cone-shaped beaks, which help them to crack open seeds and nuts. Hummingbirds feed on flower nectar and are attracted to red tube-shaped flowers. Therefore, they need a beak that can fit into those flowers. Look at the beak. Look at the beak on the hummingbird, right? It's very thin, right? So it needs that very thin beak to fit inside of the flower. Their beaks are long and slender and work like straws to suck nectar out of flowers. Pelicans and kingfishers have spear-shaped beak. It is used to catch fish. A crow has multi-purpose beak. It helps the crow to eat fruits, seeds, insects, fish, and other food items. Right? Look at the crow's beak. Right? The crow's beak is very multi-purpose. It can do many different things because the crow eats different things like fruits, seeds, insects, fish, and other food items. So depending on what birds eat, they have the appropriate beak that matches with what they eat. An etor. An edo zong azirin an beak the po kan an. So if you look at the eagle's beak, yes, it's long and curved because they need to eat meat, and that beak tears into the flesh. About the duck, what happens? The duck takes in, scoops in muddy water. The mud and water flow out through the sides of the holes. Sorry, the sides of the beaks, and then whatever remains, the plants and insects, the duck eats that. Then woodpeckers also eat insects, but they drill holes into wood. And then the hummingbird, yes, it has a very small and long beak to suck the nectar out of the flower, and so on and so forth. So yes, depending on what they eat, their beaks will also have the corresponding shape. And then toes and claws. All birds have toes and claws, and they can use them to hold on to things, swim, and fly. Birds also use their toes and claws to catch food and protect themselves from enemies. They have 2 to 4 toes on each foot. Sparrows, crows, and blue jays perch on branches. They have 3 toes in the front and 1 at the back. They use the front toes like fingers and the back toe like a thumb. Their toes go around a branch and grip it firmly. Cocks, chickens, and hens. Cocks, chickens, Cocks, chickens, and hens find their food on the ground. They have sharp and hard claws to dig and scratch the ground to find insects and seeds. Woodpeckers and sparrows have 2 toes pointing forward and 2 pointing backwards. The back toes help them to grip as they climb trees. Birds such as ducks, swans, and geese have webbed feet that act like paddles in water. They help them to swim. Flesh-eating birds like eagles and hawks have sharp curved claws called talons. They use their talons to catch and hold on to their prey. Emus and other flightless, fast-running birds have 3 toes on each foot. The ostrich has strong claws to scratch the ground where it lays its eggs in small pits and covers it with mud or safekeeping. So we can see different kinds of birds have different kinds of toes and feet depending on what they do with it, right? They do many things. Some use it to catch their food. Some use it to Some use it to grab their food. Some use it to climb trees. Some, like the duck, have webbed feet that helps it paddle in the water, right? So they have different uses for different, so the different kinds of toes and claws that birds have help the bird do many different things, right? So what have we learned today? Let us try to remember. Birds have beaks instead of teeth, right? Birds don't have teeth, they have beaks. They are shaped in a particular way to serve different purposes. Birds use their beaks to peck, fight, hold their food, look for their food, and build their nests and preen themselves. The structure of the foot of bird varies, including the number of toes and claws according to the function they are supposed to perform. Right, so we've come to the end of the lesson for today. For homework, I would like you to do exercises A, B, C, and D on pages 75 and 76. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.